Hey there. Stopped and pulled over the side of the road to share something with everyone. How do you know that you know that you know love wins and good wins? I mean, all the books say they do. But Spirit really wanted me to share with you a really brilliant encouragement and how you can know with absolute confidence that love wins and that everything's going to be great and better than great, and so that will give you the freedom to be able to relax and enjoy where you are right now, even if everything outside and everything around you seems to be doing crazy things and the world is doing crazy things and all that sort of stuff. I'm actually going to take my seatbelt off. But you know, if you see what's going on around the world and it's just crazy stuff is happening, I want to give you this beautiful encouragement so that you can know with absolute confidence that love wins and everything really is going to be okay. All right? I talk about the death matrix a lot, and the death matrix is this energetic jail that humanity has been held captive in here on planet Earth. And it consists of soul realm. So it's not so much physical realm, though it leaks into the physical realm and, you know, can be connected and portals and all that sort of stuff. It's a soul realm jail, prison, and the energies that held it in place are the immediate gratification energies of death, hatred, fear, misery, greed, lust, all that oppression's a big one, all that sort of stuff. And it is very legitimate, very true that over the last 50 years even, my lifespan so far, the death matrix has reached an all-time high in power. There have been witches and wizards and those who have used the magic of fear and hatred to get their way. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street and you can see how disgusting the death matrix has gotten. And that movie doesn't even scratch the surface. The utter revulsion of evil that has been going on. And I mean, even in the 80s, there was this height where people in power started coming out, and no longer did they have to pretend that they were good. They just, because it's a swing back from the 70s. The 70s was this massive influx of love. Everybody knows that. Hippies, love, all that sort of stuff. And those of us who were born in the 70s were born into that massive influx and massive projection and space holding of love. In fact, 1969 Woodstock, right or wrong, whatever actions people took, the overarching energy was that of love. It was immature love, and a lot of it was misused and misunderstood, and there was all that sort of stuff. We're humans, we make mistakes. But the overarching energy of the summer of 1969 was this massive holding space for love. And then those who were born in that year and then the following years afterward were born specifically in this bubble of love within this death matrix, because the only way to take down the death matrix and live by the prime directive, which is those who have higher technologies and more advancement in evolution and aliens who are more advanced than human beings, cannot infiltrate or influence prime directive. You can't directly work on a culture that is more primitive than you. The only way they could do it, the only way they could rescue humanity, was by being born into it. And Jesus Christ was the first one. He led the way. Okay? I am led the way for all of us. What would Jesus do? We would become I am and live a life of love on earth and sacrifice for those around us. And so the 80s was this big coming out of evil. And it was in this big swing back from the 70s love to the swing back to, you know what, we've got the power, we've got the money, we're going to live out loud, we're going to be wild, we're going to be crazy. And the rock bands, the hair rock bands, that's a lot of it celebrated the idea of Satanism. Now, I'm not saying that all of them were satanic worshippers or anything like that, but that was going on. In each individual souls, I'm not going to judge anyone individually. Each individual soul will be held accountable for whatever they did. Some were double agents, some were out and out worshiping Satan, some were just being rebels because why not? That's human nature. But so the 80s was this coming out of, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and when I've got all the money, I've got all the power. And then you see it in the music industry, most specifically in the 90s. You've got all these young, brilliant musicians coming out with genuine talent, genuine ability, coming out of their garages, and the garage band was just like huge. But all these brilliant, young, talented people came up into this industry with hopes and dreams, and then they just hit a wall because they realized that from the 80s, the people with the money have all the power, and there was nothing they could do about it. Absolutely nothing they could do about it. How many celebrities and musicians in the late 80s and the 90s died of suicide or were suicided? Because anyone who fought the controlling factions who had all the money and power, no, we want nothing to do with you. Heavens, the Clintons have a trail of people that they know that died of suicide. Yeah, right. Nobody has that many people that they know that die of suicide. Not without them having a hand in it. Just going to say it. So, then we come into the 20s, the 2000s, and this wrestling and this despondency and the millennials who are like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with money. I'm done with wealth. I'm done with power. I'm just going to do it my own way because I'm sick of being controlled, which is what's been going on. So there has been a lot of control. It's become a lot more open. It's become a lot more positive. I'm not going to go any further with that timeline. I want to get to the point here that the death matrix has been incredibly powerful. And there has been a seeming no hope for humanity. Certainly not one single person. So people coming up in the music industry or in the fashion industry or in the Hollywood movie and television industry or even politicians, if they had a good heart and they meant well, they either had to just keep their mouth shut and be undercover and pretend, or they got sucked in, or they were bribed, and just this overarching control, and it's not just so much a cabal or a conspiracy theory or whatever it is. It's the energies, this death energy of oppression has just had this crushing grip, and destruction has been just encompassing the human soul, both on a collective and on an individual basis, so much so that despite the fact that Jesus Christ came and set humanity free, humanity has kind of come full circle again back into this cycle where we just can't get out. There's nothing we can do about it. And good people turn bad because good people have to do bad things to defeat the evil. And then it's just this mess and this mess and this mess. Good news is, okay, now this is all changing. And it's changed behind the scenes. So if you're not aware of what's going on behind the scenes, it's okay. Here's the encouragement. This is how you can know that you know that you know. And knowing this makes me weep with joy. It helps me to understand why God can just laugh in the face of evil. Because for all that destruction and death is so powerful, and it really is, death and destruction is uber powerful. Creation, life, and eternal love, which is who God is, the almighty source of eternal love, is a life cycle, okay? the life cycle. That's why eternal love is eternal. It takes longer. It's not an immediate gratification, okay? It goes through times and seasons. You see it in a plant. A plant is you plant the seed germinates, it grows out of the dirt, and then it matures, and then it bears flowers, and it bears fruit, and then it goes through seasons and cycles, and it loses its leaves, and then it does it again, and loses its leaves, and it does it again, especially if it comes back every year. That death and destruction part, that is so powerful, that seems so daunting, it is just one small part of the entire life cycle. So, beloved, when you align yourself through faith and hope with eternal love, joy, and peace, it's not a yin-yang thing, okay? Now, there is a lot of yin-yang, black and white, and that's other things. But this fight against good and evil, it's not good versus evil. It's not life versus death. No, love, death is a very small part of the greater cycle of life. Death is just the tool of life. So when you look at death and you get overwhelmed by how big and how powerful it is, it's okay. Death is just the tool of life. And when there is death, life comes back. You cannot stop life. Now, yeah, it may happen on a grand scale of like entire lifetimes. My entire lifetime, 50 years. Or heavens, since the Titanic. This shit has been going on since the Titanic. Check your theories on that. It's just, remember, loves, this is just one tiny tool of the life cycle, and it is dissolving away. It is coming to its end. And what happens when something dies at the end of the life cycle? You have rebirth, regrowth, maturity. So if death has been going on so long here on planet Earth, loves, just try and grasp the inevitability, the unstoppable inevitability of life and abundance that is here already and is using this tool of death to end that which must come to an end, to rebirth something far greater. I don't know everything. That's the matter of the gods, but I do know this. We don't have to worry about death, because death is simply the step before rebirth. So let's rebirth together. Relax. We are no longer contained or controlled by the death matrix. Immediate gratification? We just use immediate gratification to keep time with the rhythm. So dance on, my loves. The music goes on. You can't stop the signal. Frequency is everything. I love you. I love you. I love you. Eternal love is eternal. Be encouraged. Relax. Enjoy your time. It's a beautiful night. In fact, I had difficulty finding somewhere to stop because there are so many people in the neighborhoods who are all sitting outside with their garage doors up, hanging out with their neighbors. How beautiful is that? Enjoy your life, love. I love you. Eternal love loves you. Now you go love you.